Hey everybody, Bob Umar here, and sorry I'm starting about 2-3 minutes late, but today is my daily broadcast for the Power of Connection channel, and today we're going to talk about leadership. So while people join in, by all means come in and say hello, and you can comment below and say hello and talk to the people that are there and talk to me and share your questions that you have for the topic. I'm here every day, Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, yeah, I'm a little bit late. That's okay, but I'll try to be consistent. I was like rushing to get the topic and the texting all set up, but that we are now ready to go. I'm just setting up my other laptop here so I can talk to you and I can look at the laptop to see what people are saying. All right, so we're gonna have this discussion and get right into it. So, okay, here we go. Let's see. Let me just turn this on, and then okay, and then oops, and we okay. All right, so now I can see people's comments and I can see, hey, there we go. Hey, Vinay, all right, people are here. All right, oh, this is awesome. Okay, so let's get going. If you like what you're hearing, you like what we're talking about, click the like, share it with your friends, tag people. Let's get people part of the conversation. Hey, Vinodi, good to see you. Medea, Jones, everyone's coming in. It's great. So leadership, this is a very, very important topic. It's obviously something we talk about all the time. Hey, Tim, good to see you. Leadership, how do you define leadership? Comment below and tell me your definition of leadership. And leadership, has many different definitions, many different ways in which we interpret that. I'm actually focusing more on the professional development, career development, entrepreneurship type things. Hey, Kyle, good to see you. Looks like a lot of people are coming in here. Again, if you like what you're hearing, comment, share, tag people. Let's get people part of the conversation. But I also want to hear from you what your definition of leadership is. I'll share mine and where I kind of go from it. But leadership over the years has been discussed in many ways. I mean, there's the classic authoritative, I'm the king and I'm the president and my word is law. That's certainly one aspect of leadership. But I think that leadership is something that, yeah, I agree with you, Vinay. It's misunderstood and it's misused by many different people in different ways. And so I want to make sure that you guys tell me what your definitions are. I will also tell you my definitions. But I'll start with my general definition of leadership. So for me, leadership, there's two parts. Well, actually, it's the main part. The main part is leadership is doing everything you can to better yourself and to better yourself so that to evolve, change, and grow and learn for the better so that you can then challenge, move, influence, and grow yourself, other people, your teams, your companies, your industries, and the world. So leadership starts from within. It's part of who you are and what you do and how you act. But a big part of it is influence, right? So influencing yourself to be better, influencing other people to create positive change. But at the same time, it's also about creating that change, creating that impact. And how do we do that? Well, we often dig in the trenches. We change ourselves. By making us better, we make the world better. So if I work on my communication skills, I will be able to build my leadership and influence others by communicating things with them. And I see some other definitions here, which is great. Hey, Ravi, and a bunch of other people, and Rob's there too. Leadership setting the example, that's great. Another person says leadership is about being able to understand and respect your people. Yeah. Again, you'll see that the same theme is about bettering yourself to serve other people, right? So that's a big part of leadership. Another big part of it, of course, is the influence, right? So influencing yourself and other people for the better, whether it's better for the team, better for the organization, better for the country, better for the world. These are things that how we look at leadership and how we actually define that. And again, the different aspects of leadership that we talk about, like for example, lead from within means, working on yourself and working to be better. So, and I always say a better me is a better everything else. And that not only includes the professional stuff, but even the personal stuff, like, working on myself. Let's say, and it can be really personal things, working on my health, for example, is something that I have challenges with. It'll actually make me a better worker and a better leader. It'll actually make me a better parent and a better husband because I'll have more energy to do more things. And yes, Medea kind of got it right too, because one of my memes I like to share is, the best leaders create new leaders. And I think that's really, really important. Tim really mentioned another great aspect of leadership, right? Being authentic, being transparent, being honest, being vulnerable. I think the new leader, I mean, certainly the old leader 1.0 was authoritarian stuff, but now new leadership's about being vulnerable, owning to the challenges and mistakes you might make because it's normal, it's human. And so I think that the new leader 2.0, leadership 2.0 is about, again, trying to be more vulnerable, being more open and honest to, who you are, what you're going through, what you're dealing with. And I think that's another great way to look at leadership. And hey, look at those people, Anthony and Carlisle, good to see you. Diana, hey Diana, good to see you. All right. We are live. I love this. And howdy, indeed. So, yeah, so tell me below what your definition of leadership is. I want to hear what you think. And then I'll share more in terms of ideas of leadership. And there's different forms. Leadership comes in all forms, shapes, and sizes. So what I thought I'd do is tell you a leadership story. Okay, and so it's my hamburger story. And if you haven't heard, if you already heard this, bear with me. So I was years and years ago. I was in university, years and years ago, I say. I was in university, McGill University in Montreal, and I was studying for exams. So it was really late. It was, late. It was winter, so it was in winter, December. And I remember I was about to leave the library to go get some food. So I went to the nearest McDonald's downtown to just get some food because I was starving. And I passed by a window that said, hey, cheeseburgers were on sale for 79 cents. Normally they're like $1.40. I was like, well, remember this is the 80s, so like you're worried about the dollar values. They usually were $1.50, $1.40, and they're on sale for 79 cents. So I went to McDonald's. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I went to McDonald's. I was like, wow, 3 cheeseburgers, please. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll save some more for later. I'll have some like later tonight or tomorrow. 6 cheeseburgers, please. And then because I was starving because of exams, right? So then the wheels started turning in my head, and I was like, oh, you know what? I have an idea. So then I said, excuse me, miss, I'd like to change my order. I would like 20 cheeseburgers, please. And she's like, what? 20 cheeseburgers? Are you crazy? Well, she didn't say it was crazy, but like in my head, I was like, am I crazy? Yes, 20 cheeseburgers. She's like, oh, that's going to take about 20 minutes. I'm like, no problem. And then another idea came in my head. Again, the wheels are turning. And so I left McDonald's and I walked down the street to another McDonald's, which was about 10 minutes away, 5-10 minutes away, because I knew it was there. I went there and I ordered 20 cheeseburgers as well. And she was looking at me like, whoa, 20 cheeseburgers. So then I walked back, picked up the 20 cheeseburgers, in 2 big bags. I put them in my backpack. Then I walked to the other McDonald's, picked up the other 20 cheeseburgers, and I carried them. So now I have 40 cheeseburgers. And so what I did was I then hailed a cab and took a cab all the way back up to my residence. And I was there. It was probably like maybe 10:30 at night, and everyone was studying hard for exams and all that. And so I went around to all the study rooms and people in the rooms and wherever they were. I said, hey, I got cheeseburgers. Who wants a cheeseburger? On sale now. And I said, $2. And I sold all the cheeseburgers. I kept my six, and I sold all the cheeseburgers for $2 each in about probably 45 minutes. And that was awesome. It was epic. People were starving. They thought it was so cool. Wow, cheeseburgers delivered. They were so excited. Now, how's that leadership story? Well, leadership is about finding opportunity, solving problems. Leadership is about innovating. Leadership is about being creative. And so, and finding a way to serve people that, addresses a pain point or gives them a bliss point. And the cheeseburger thing actually did both. They were hungry and they felt satisfied by having a cheeseburger. We're students, so we didn't care too much about the quality of the food. We just wanted some food. And so that's the story of leadership that I always love to share with people because I think it's so important. So again, going back to the leadership question, and again, what I'd like to do afterwards is answer any questions below. If you have questions about leadership or how you look at leadership, I'd love to hear about that. I see some people are just promoting their stuff, their links. You can do that if you want. Totally cool. I think it's better to engage people. Leading with vision is great. Leadership, again, covers different areas. So definitely you share your thoughts. But for me, my definition of leadership is that leadership is about evolving, growing, and changing for the better. To learn more, to grow more, to understand more, to connect more, so that you better yourself, which ultimately then serves to better people around you, your teams, your companies, your industries, and your world. That to me is what leadership is: influence and making change for the better, positive change. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, I'd love to hear more about kind of your stories on leadership and any sort of definitions. I'll cover different types of leadership. So, for example, let's talk about leadership as a boss or a manager. What are you doing as a leader or as a manager, sorry, to be a leader? Because you can either be a manager, supervisor, director, boss, but then not be a leader. So, what is it you're doing to take that leadership to the next level? And if you want my best tip of leadership is listen. Stop, listen. Don't try to tell people what to do. Try to understand what they're doing and how they're feeling and why they're doing it, and making sure it's aligned to what the team wants, what the organization wants, and what you're looking to do. So take the time to spend there just listening to people and see where they're at. At the same time, take the time to invest in them and understand their story and who they are, what they're all about, right? I'm a big believer of what I call walking around leadership, right? So when I used to work in corporate, there was some leaders would walk around and visit people in their cubes, and other ones would just stay in their office and you never saw them ever. And there's a big difference with those who actually would go around and talk to people and ask about their day, find out about their families, and then talk about work. And so that example of and creating that connection, investing in the people around you, is huge. So that whole walk around leadership and investing in people, I think, is a really, really big part of what you need to do as a leader. Another thing that someone just brought up, which is Anne brought up actually from the UK, leading by example is good, but I love that she mentioned empathy. So the new Leadership 2.0 is about empathy. So going back to the idea about connecting and understanding people, taking empathy and really using it to understand what people are doing, how they're feeling, and how you can support those feelings. So if someone's feeling overwhelmed, how can you understand that? How can you support that? If someone's feeling, I know people are asking about the buffering. Yes, the buffering happens because of the app, and I apologize for that. But again, the replay will be available as well, so you can take a look at it later. But hey, Scott from Oregon, good to see you, and thanks Tim for the information. And again, I see your comments and stuff, which is great. So going back to the empathy thing, let's say someone has, they had a panic attack, right, and they're feeling stressed. Can you empathize with that and then support them? That's so important. No matter what they're going through, people, everyone here is human. They go through stuff in their lives, both at work, whether they're stressed out at a colleague or having conflict, or whether they're at home and there's a conflict, or maybe they, have an injury they don't want to talk about. And so it's important for us to use empathy to, number one, understand, can I understand how this person is feeling? Number two, can I understand why they're feeling this way? And then number three, how can I support those feelings? And if you can do that, then you're going to be much more of an empathetic leader. So, empathy is a huge part of leadership for sure. And that's a great one. So we've talked about, and let's talk about now servant leadership. Let's get into servant leadership. What does that really mean? Servant leadership really is the idea that you are there not for yourself, but to serve everybody else. So when I go into work, it's not about my deadline. It's not about my results. It's not about my needs and what I have to do. My role as a leader is to serve other people. So below me, there's my vice presidents, and below that, there's the directors, below there's the employees. But again, I'm trying to serve them. I'm also serving the users, the clients, the customers, right? So if I'm the president of such and such organization and customers are unhappy, I need to serve them. I need to go and make sure they are okay. And so servant leadership is really about providing service to everyone else around you, the ones who are stakeholders, the ones who, are there to help you. And I think it reminds me of, what Vinay says about being selfless. It doesn't matter about your title or what position you have. You have to be out there and, help and support other people with that empathy, with that courage, with that transparency, with that vulnerability, with that service. So that's, again, where servant leadership comes into play. Now, it also brings up the question, why is authoritative leadership so popular and still rampant? Well, I think part of it's because a lot of people in work feel doubt, feel stuck, feel unfulfilled, don't feel empowered to speak their voice, don't feel like there's an environment to fail, they don't feel like they are understood. And so when the authoritative leader comes in and starts barking orders or threatening them being fired and things like that, it starts to work, but it only works to a point. I mean, you're right. Authoritative leader who's yelling orders can get results, really quickly, or get results for something that's going on. Uh, Appreciate that, Marianne, for the connection piece. I appreciate it. But thanks for joining. Maybe check out the replay later, and if you want, you can share it on your pages and tag some people and let people know what we're talking about today. So going back to the authoritative leader, it can work, but only to a point, right? So the new leader who's more empathetic, that's more investing, that's more listening, that's more supportive, that's more servant leadership, you're going to get far greater results. And truth is, it may be slow at first because people need time to change, to feel empowered. They need to, the culture has to, breed within, and eventually get to a point where, okay, people are like, oh yeah, I'm totally liking this whole style. But once it gets there, watch things take off. It's amazing because people are communicating better, they're working together, they're more aligned with the vision, they're more aligned with what you're doing, they feel empowered, and they'll even bring up stuff that's not working, and so they'll make these incremental changes that'll actually take your organization forward in a more significant way, and that's really important too. And then another aspect of leadership I want to talk about is knowing what you stand for and who you are. So the best leaders out there know who you are, know what you stand for, know what you believe in, know your values. And in doing so, really personal branding is a big part of leadership. So, I'm a big advocate of personal branding, and I already did a live stream before about this, about personal branding a couple of days ago. You can check it out. But personal branding is about, knowing who you are, what you stand for, what your promises to people, what your reputation is, your integrity, how people perceive you. And so a good leader will leverage their personal brand to understand exactly how they're perceived, understand how they want to be perceived, and then making the changes to grow and evolve for the better. So it's kind of related, right? Personal brand is very related to leadership. A really good leader will be one that knows their brand and knows how their brand affects others, and then leverages that to create more positive outcomes and positive influence. And that's really another big part. That's why personal branding is so important. Like if you want to be a leader or even a better leader, I highly encourage all of you to dive into your personal brands, dive into your values, your skills, your traits, your interests. I wrote a HuffPost article about how to create your brand, and I'm doing a workshop in Toronto on how to do personal branding and how to craft it in Toronto if you're interested. So thanks, Noreen. Thanks, Vinay, for all the comments. But while we're at it, again, if you're liking these daily discussions and LinkedIn Lives and broadcasts for the Power of Connection channel that I'm doing, I'm here every day, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. And if you have questions, you want topics, you want to maybe be interviewed and be part of this thing, let me know. Give me a call, give me a shout, comment below. Also, if you need more support with personal branding or career development or professional speaking and things like that, I have my links below where you can see how I help people with my Patreon page and my speaker mastermind group, my DYPB Discover Your Personal Brand company. If you want to hire me as a speaker, which is what I do, like on stage, it won't be like free flow like this, more prepared, but you can see how I speak and engage. So I'm always looking to do more speaking. That's what I do that's my main thing is I do it as a living. I'm a professional speaker. So yeah, look at the comments, look at the links below, and you can check that out. So personal branding, again, personal branding is a big part of leadership. Invest and dive in your personal brand to be a better leader. Now, the last piece of leadership I want to talk about is what I call, and again, before I do this, if you have definitions of leadership, comment below, let me know. Let me know what you're thinking about in terms of how you define leadership. The last thing about leadership I want to talk about is what I call thought leadership. So if you want to become a thought leader in any field, it doesn't matter whether you're I talked about this before too, but thought leadership in any field, whether, let's say you're in fintech, let's say you're in blockchain, let's say you're in shoemaking, and you want to be seen as a thought leader. What can you do to build a better thought leadership brand, right? So it really comes down to three things. So there's three things, and a thought leader is someone that people think about when you think of a topic. So if you look at personal branding, a personal brand is what they say when you're not in the room. A thought leadership personal brand is what they say when you enter a room. Oh, there's that person who's expert in shoemaking or the expert in fintech or blockchain, the blockchain person, right? That's what they say. So how do you build thought leadership? There are three things that all thought leaders do. Number one, relationship building. So they all build broad relationships and they'll build deep relationships, and they're always doing that. So networking, connection, cultivating relationships, it's a big part of what they're doing. And it doesn't matter whether you're Jay-Z or Oprah or Gary Vaynerchuk or Bill Gates. You're doing the same things. You're building broad relationships and deep relationships. That's an important thing. I'm doing this to build that. Number two, they're always creating awesome new ideas and content. So Jay-Z's writing songs, Oprah's writing books, Gary Vaynerchuk's doing videos, Warren Buffett's writing financial investment reports. I'm doing LinkedIn Live videos, right? You're creating new ideas and content all the time because you want to be seen as a leader in your industry. And the third thing you're doing is you're always working on your speaking and writing skills. So you're doing videos like this. You're writing blogs and posting them like I have. You're writing songs. You're doing more videos. You're constantly working on speaking better and writing better, and they go hand in hand. Like, most great writers should also do a bit of speaking, and most great speakers need to do writing. So it's important for you to do that. I see a question. That's exciting. So let me just finish my thought here. Okay, so if you want to so thought leadership is a big part of leadership as well, and any single one of you can be a thought leader, and you can do it by speaking, creating content, doing blogs. You can build relationships better, network better. You can work on your speaking skills. If you need more support on that, let me know. But that's something that I'm really big on. I'm on a mission to help everybody out there become a thought leader. And you can be a thought leader at any level. It doesn't matter what level you are in your company. You can be a thought leader in your space. There's someone out there who's at a low level, but for some reason is the chief technical person because they know all about Facebook ads. They become a thought leader in that way. So the question that came up is, do empathy and sympathy go hand in hand with being a leader? Well, the important thing is to know what the difference is, right? So what's the difference between empathy and sympathy? So sympathy is, when you personally have an emotional feeling about about what someone is going through, right? And sympathy is great. And it's very related to empathy. Empathy takes it a little bit step further. It's actually taking efforts to really understand how that person's feeling, as opposed to saying, I feel so sorry that your pet fish died. Feel bad about that. Sorry, and so I'm being sympathetic to what they're going through. Feel sorry about that. Take the day off, right? That's sympathy. Empathy is tell me about your fish. Okay, tell me how does that fish make you feel, and try to understand how they really, really feel. That's where empathy takes it to a next level, right? So there's words like sympathy and compassion that are very similar to empathy, but empathy takes it to one level further. Now, I think still, passion and compassion and sympathy are great for a leader, but it is empathy that you really want to work on. And there's a stat that says that 20% of people out there don't even have empathy, or they don't know how to do it. So it's important to actually leverage and figure that stuff out. All right, so that's a great question. If you have any other questions, you can let me know. But I think we're now kind of at the end of this. I'm going to have to end because normally I try to do 15, 20 minutes with some Q&A if people have them. But today's topic is about leadership. And again, if you have ideas for topics, let me know. If you have other things you want me to discuss or you have questions, comment below. If you like what you're hearing, like, comment, share, tag people. I'd love to have people there. I'll be here every day, 8:30 a.m. Tomorrow might be a little bit iffy because I have an all-day shoot that might not work for my normal time. If that happens, I'll let you know via some sort of post. But for the most part, I'm going to do my best to do the Monday to Friday every day. All right. So, and tomorrow I haven't given you my topics, so that's kind of exciting. But maybe I'll put a list of topics. You guys can get excited about that. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this content. And leadership is something that I think is really, really great. We all have the leadership capacity within us to do that. You have the ability to be a leader. You have the ability to better yourself, to evolve, learn, and grow, to serve people, to have vision, to support others, to listen, to be empathetic. But even better, if you're a leader that struggles with this and you're vulnerable and authentic, then just ask for help, and help will be there for myself or my community or anyone else around us. All right. So thanks so much, guys. Wishing you all the best. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.